Hello and welcome, everybody, to Dwarf Fortress. I've been waiting for the UI version of this game for so long, and now it's finally here. So I'm going to use it. I'm definitely going to use it, guys. So today I'm going to go over a sort of like beginner's guide to Dwarf Fortress for those who don't really know how to play it, or even what it's about. I'll try and keep this to a bare minimum of information just to get you started, and hopefully by the end of it you have like a nice little fortress to continue on and to dwarf. So see you in a moment. Okay, right. So I've already had existing worlds because I've played this before, but what we want to do from this screen is create a new world. By default, you can probably just leave pretty much everything here as default, certainly for your first game or your first games. I don't think I modified any of these for quite some time. So yeah, just leave everything as default. Don't worry about detailed mode. Okay, so create your world. And this goes ahead and just loads all the vanilla stuff. All the vanilla stuff. We like vanilla. But yep, that will load it. And then what it will do is it will then start populating the world with all its lakes, minerals, and then it will start populating history. So in 32, the Silken Flute of the Lush Storms founded Lucky Leap. Very nice. Very nice. All this is all auto-generated. It's different every single time. You'll never get the same world twice. But now, yeah, we got this world. We chose 100 years. Yeah, you can use WSAD to move around, or a slightly smoother transition if you use the middle mouse button here. But you can investigate it before you go ahead and, click play. Fortress. It'll advance it a couple of weeks. It just tells you it does this. I don't know if you can actually turn that off. You do have the option of the short tutorial. I've done that short tutorial. It's perfectly fine. It tells you enough probably that you need to know, but not everything you need to know. I found there was a few things missing from it, and it skipped over things, but there is a vast amount of information available, so I'm just going to skip that for the time being. And yeah, we now need to look for a place to set up shop. Okay, so I found some area that I'd like. I moved my mouse, unfortunately. An area I like the look of. If you look at the top right, you've got what's available in this area. It's temperate, which means the dwarves aren't going to get too hot or too cold, so you don't have to worry about that for your first go. It has trees, which are very, very important for those barrels that you have. Other vegetation is moderate, so not particularly great, but I don't think I spawned a particularly great map. Surroundings, untamed wilds. That's not so important in my opinion, because once you get your dwarfs underground, you're not really going to be suffering that anyway. But it also comes sand, the soil, iron, gold, silver, copper, nickel, zinc, platinum, tin, lead, and the all-important fluxstone layer for later game. It's also got humans near a site, a day's travel to the west, so we should get some trade. But what it doesn't have is light aquifer or heavy aquifer, and that is important. That is important, because yeah, that aquifer is a pain. I'll tell you that much. So, what you want to do? Click embark. I'll then give you a nice little square. I want there. You know what? It's probably going to be close enough. The area that I've chosen pretty much bang in the middle, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. Generally, you want to avoid aquifers because, yeah, you have to end up pumping out water. So we'll just click play now. We've arrived at our dwarven outpost, and as you can see, we have our dwarves. All our dwarves. This one is turning into a dog. No, this is this is just more than one unit. It just flickers between the two. Once that's finished loading, which you have done, you're on pause, so you can stay on the screen for however long you want. And you notice, nice broken down cart full of goodies surrounded by your dwarves. So yeah, welcome to Dwarf Fortress. That's it. End of the game, you win. No, joking. But serious now, everyone is now in serious danger. So yeah, you have controls. These may be different for you. I have modified mine slightly. There's the mountainside. I'm using middle mouse button to move around. We do have a lot of those, right? So for me, if you hit control and you use your mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out of the local area on this elevation. We're on elevation 49 here. For me, it's reversed to the standard, and you can get to that by coming into settings. Music's getting loud, guys. I believe it's a zoom in and out here. Rebind that. I think that should say mouse 5. It doesn't show control on here, so make sure you hit control and then zoom in, and then control on this one, and then zoom out to whichever direction you want. Another one to note that is going to be a good one: move view cursor up and down. I've also reversed mine of these as well, and that is it. Without control, you just use your mouse wheel, and what it does is it changes the elevation, so you can see, oh, we're now in the sky here. But you can also go underground and see everything underground to the deepest elevation of 24 here. So yeah, it's good to know those controls, and it's good to be comfortable with those controls. Now I'm going to move my dwarves over to this mountain, because usually the mountain areas are sort of where the good resources are, in my opinion. I've not really explored this. I've always gone into the mountain side. But yeah, we need to get the dwarfs underground as soon as possible, because there will be a lot of creatures around, certainly if you've gone into like seriously untamed wilds, and they'll kill all your dwarves and steal all your stuff. So the first thing we've got to do is get our dwarfs underground, and all the stuff that they've got underground. To dig, certainly to dig underground, you can either just dig straight into the mountain, but I prefer to dig stairs down. I tend to find a nice little zone, yeah, maybe in here. And what you got down here, you got your digging orders, or M if you want, and you've got your regular digging, but you've also got your stair digging. And what you do with that is you click once on a square you want to put your stair, then you go down a level and click again, and then that will put the stair. Probably should have zoomed in a little bit for that. The stair down one level. Okay. What I will do is press play. Spacebar will toggle the play and pause. One particular dwarf, I think by default it's always just one dwarf. There we go. Who have we got? Cole. Right, Cole is our miner here, and has now made some stairs. Okay. Now with that, we need to actually get going with a little area for us to work with. So I'm just going to do the mining. You click once, drag, click again, and then that will set your mining area. But what we want to do is we want to get our dwarves and our resources underground as quickly as possible. So that's that miners. Oh, we've got black sand under here, and what's this? sandstone covered floor. Okay, we might have to go down another level. I mean, this is fine for the initial. But yeah, all our dwarves are all the way over here, and they're probably crying by now. Now that we've got like a little space, what I want to do is set up a meeting area. Meeting areas are where the dwarves hang out and gather and socialize. It's good to use that as a way of getting them underground quickly, and we did that for Z or this button down here. And then clicking on meeting area, and the same with the dig. You just click and drag, and then you get your meeting area. Now all our dwarfs should, and all our creatures should slowly move over and hang out in our new little zone. That'll at least get them underground. Now all our resources are in a dangerous place, so we also need to get our resources down. So what I'll do is I'll dig out a larger area just to stick our resources for the time being, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Okay, so that's probably enough space. We do have one in the middle here, annoyingly, but they're working their way down. What we want to do is get started with getting everybody to get those resources down from the minecart, because they've got quite a way to go, and they've got a lot of stuff to drag down, and obviously we want to keep them safe, so we may as well get them started while we have a little space. Now, to mark a zone for storage is this one, hotkey P, for placing stockpiles. What you'll get is this little pop-up here, and you can click on that, and then you can draw a zone, very similar to pretty much all the other drag and clicks. Obviously, it will cut out that little one in the middle there. So you've got this, you click accept, and for the time being, we're just going to hit all. And that just means they're just going to go ahead and grab everything they can and stick it here. This area isn't big enough for everything from that cart, so we'll speed things up a little bit. While they're doing that, we will increase the size of this, and I can show you how to increase the size of the stockpile zones. At least that way you'll be able to know how to do larger zones. If you just want to increase it, you don't have to like get rid of it, you can just repaint it. See, they're all bringing all these resources in now, but you see all these rocks are all in the way as well, so that's really irritating. But you can repaint it as you go here. So you've got this one here, repaint stockpile, and you just click and drag, and then it sort of expands the same stockpile. Okay, so this stockpile has literally everything. Literally everything. Well, I say literally everything. They're still going ahead and bringing stuff back. You may want to leave them to do that for, however long, while you continue doing other stuff. I just want to dig down another level and see what that will entail there. We will worry about these animals in a little bit. But yeah, the noises at the other end of my headphones are yeah, very disconcerting. Are they still collecting? No, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you can see how far they've got to go and how much stuff is still on here. They're just like, come on. So, what did we get down? Did we not get a down? Did we strike our aquifer? That will be really... Yes, we did. Damn. Damn. Yeah, this is why I don't want aquifer, because what happens here is you dig with this, and then it slowly starts, because it's damp, you get puddles of water, and then you've got to pump the water out, and it is just a right pain. Right, we'll do everything on this floor for the time being then, while we go through all the stuff. But really, you want to find a place to dig down that doesn't have the water and stuff like that. I mean, you can see there is a fair bit of water on here, but yeah, obviously I screwed up when I was selecting my world. That happens. Just know that dying is fun, as the catchphrase is. We don't really want all of this in one go, so we need to set up some additional zones. The first one we want to do is somewhere out the way, maybe over here. We want to set up a new stockpile. Okay, accept this, and what we want to do is go to custom down here. And this, you can actually tailor all your stockpiles to be everything. What we want is to click on refuge and click on all, and corpses and click on all. And this is going to be our dumping zone. Having trash and corpses lying around really upsets your dwarves. So yeah, bring those out the way and away from your base, because you don't really want to do anything with that. Other aspects, we need some more wood. We have our tree chopping, where we can say, right, just chop down those trees. Just fine, that'll get us some wood. We need those woods for the all-important barrels. We also need for some food gathering, and I'm just going to set a little bit here for food gathering. And the dwarves will then go pick all berries and things, because we do need some of that. Don't know what that was. And finally, we also need to set up a pasture for our animals. So if we just set this area, they'll graze and feed themselves in this area. But the thing that most people seem to forget to do is they set this and then forget to actually add which which animals they want to allow to roam this area. So what they'll find is they'll set that, and then down here all their animals will be dying because they haven't actually set which animals to do. We need bedrooms. They are important for all dwarves. I'm going to do this off the back here, and I'm going to just do, for the time being, just for proof of concept here, you can pretty much just do a 2x2. Most people will probably do a 3x2, because what we need is a bed, a cabinet, and maybe a chest. But generally, I usually start off with just a bed. They will then go ahead and mine all of this. Once they've actually finished gathering all the stuff that I set them to do. I probably should have said a smaller area, but at least it grabs the food, and that's fine. While that is being done, if you come down to here, which is our citizen information, which is the U hotkey, you can see how many dwarfs you've currently got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dwarfs. This is a very important panel because you can see your pets, you can see others, you can see who's died, set tasks, place labors, work orders if you want them, administration, so you can set people to, you know, he's the leader. You set this person to be, you know, like he's the manager. You can set the manager. We'll probably get to this in a different video because this is quite a big panel to go through for the time being. But you see we've got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've only got 5 rooms. So let's just create another one off here and another one off there. Just so we have a room per dwarf. The issue is we don't actually have any beds, so that will probably be the next port of call, but I want to show you the zoning for this while we're touching on zones. So we got bedroom. Now the issue is you can drag over the whole area, however I found that that only plants 1 bedroom for the whole lot, so this whole thing will be treated as like 1 bedroom. So yeah, I don't really know how the multi works. I've not had any success with that, but just, you know, because you don't have many to do, you can just click and drag, click accept, and then that's fine. Some dwarves prefer, you know, sharing, which you do have dormitory, and that will allow you to include multiple beds, but you know, some actually prefer, you know, want single beds, so they want to be on their own. So it's good to have the bedrooms going. This storage area is almost full. One thing we didn't do is we set the one outside to be refuge, and we didn't turn it off on here. So come into here and turn off all your refuge. So corpses and refuse are not welcome in this storage area. That is final. What else have we got? We have making to do, and we want to separate all of this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make some nice large areas here and here, and then I will probably take that one there, that one there. While they're busy digging this out, there is something that we can do, which we will need. We won't need until I think it's next spring, or at least the start of spring. I'll pause it there, and we've got the building place structures here. It's a trade depot. We will need that trade depot at some point, so I may as well just build it now. You click on build, click on trade build, and then you click on the resources. It needs 3 resources of any of these, so you can just click on which ones were probably the ones you got the most of, and then they will then go grab all that sandstone, bring it over, and then actually start building this trade depot. We probably won't need the trade depot just yet, but it's something to bear in mind that, you know, it's something that I forget quite a lot, and then like they're busy going, oh yeah, well we need to trade, and then just like nope, because you haven't got a trade depot. It's like, okay, fine. Caravan comes in and sets up shop here, and then you can buy, trade, sell all your goods that you've been creating throughout the year. Across the top here, we've got our happiness rating. Apparently some are happy. I'm assuming it's the miners that are exceptionally happy, and these guys are just busy socializing and chatting and eating and drinking. This is now full because that's just ridiculous. But yeah, now that we've got this, what we want to do is we want to start setting up some stuff. So what have we got under our build menu? We've got lots of stuff on the build. We've got traps, got military, we've done the trade depot, cages and restraints to capture enemies, machines, fluids, constructions, doors and hatches. We will be putting a hatch on top of our stair. Furniture, which includes things like the beds, but basically what you have to do is you actually have to make those items in the workshops. And the workshops is probably where you'll be building a lot of your stuff here. But I think one of the most important ones really here is the carpenter and the kitchen and the still. Still's probably the most important. Don't know why I chose that one last, but kitchen, still, and carpenter. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up some basic stuff. We're going to set one of these to be food. So we get all the food out of here. We're going to set one of these to be the barrels and finished goods. And we're just going to start separating things out. I like to separate mine out. I like to keep stones separate. Seeds we will be keeping separate. I'm going to come off here and we'll do seeds in a little bit. But that is for planting food. All the food that you see here, seeds-wise, probably should be planted underground. I don't believe that it's wise for above ground because obviously, you know, safety first, as it were. But yeah, we'll get this going. So we have a carpenter, and every workbench is pretty much a 3x3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to use more sandstone because that seems to make sense. I'm also going to create kitchen, also with sandstone. Okay, so they've done that. Let's get our still in here as well, and this is the all-important ale making machine, as it were. They'll be busy moving these out the way. There we go, just moving them out the way, tell them where to go, and now we have our still. Now we need to set up some zones here. I'm going to set up a new one here, and this one is purely going to be all food. That is it. This one here, you can click on the view stockpile, and what we want to do is set all food to none on here. Why did that not set corpses and refuse? Did that not save? Okay, I thought I set that, but fair enough. Must have had some issues. They'll then move all the food down here and all the rocks out the way. What you'll also find, if you're not really paying attention, is you'll find that you'll get like little flies buzzing around some of your food. Now the reason for that is because it's not stored in barrels. So you'll need to create barrels in order for that food to then stop becoming fly stuff and then going off and then having issues. This zone here, I'm going to create another zone here for the time being. Yeah, if I can click the right button, there we go, click accept. And what we want to do, custom, I want to put finished goods and furniture. Now furniture and siege items and things, you'll notice has barrels, and then finished goods are other stuff, you know, tools, toys, that kind of thing. I kind of keep these, I usually keep these separate. I usually have an entire zone dedicated just to barrels. But for the time and the purposes of this, we just want to get through and get set up, and then we can worry about this later. Carpentry. Now that we have 2 zones here, I'm going to add a new task, and I'm going to make 7 beds. You can set this to repeat, or you can create work orders, but you need a manager assigned for that. But for the time being, I'm just going to make 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can count. And what you'll do is you'll go off and start making beds, and you'll stick them down here. He requires wood for that. I can't remember if he also... Does he require... No, I don't think he requires any form of cloth. But yeah, he'll go ahead and then start making stuff. See, now we've got a bed here. And this bed is going to be for the dwarf. So we're going to move this over here, and we're going to come to our build menu, furniture, bed, and I'm going to stick this at the end of this room. Gives you a list of all the beds that aren't being used, that are in storage, and then you can click on that. And then someone will take that bed there and then move it into here. And now this bedroom actually can be used. If you have multiple beds, this is something that took me a little to figure out, and you want to place multiple, because at the moment you have to place single and then go back here, go to furniture, do it again. You can check this thing, keep building after placement, and what that allows you to do is you can click on there, select your bed, and then it gets you right back into there again, and then you can do that again with all your beds, and then you don't have to worry about having to continually going down to this menu. So what else have we got? The still. We have the still, and you can extract from plants or food and everything else that you find on the surface, but the main issue you have is that you probably don't have any empty barrels. So always make barrels. That's all I'm going to say, is make lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of barrels. Because not only will it put the food that you already have into the barrels, it will also put the seeds into barrels. And then, then whatever barrels you have left, you can start actually making drinks from. Any food that you do in the kitchen will also be put into barrels. So yeah, everything lives in barrels. That's all I'm going to say with that. Everything belongs to barrels. So once he's gone and created a few barrels, we can then start making grog, ale, lager, beer, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the dwarves pretty much live on it. The dwarves can pretty much just live purely on ale. You don't actually really need to feed them. But yeah, that's probably something you should consider doing. So we need a dining hall as well, and then off the edge of the kitchen I want to create a grow plot and a storage for the seeds. You note that I'm doing this all on one level. This is because of that. I clearly chose the wrong spot. I will go and discuss aquifers at another time. Only because they're irritating, and you don't really need to worry about that. If you find a level that you can do everything on, you can at least run your first game from this. You're just going to need an awful lot of defensives because everything's on the same level, and yeah. So this has actually run out of space. I actually think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another zone up here. And this zone is going to be for stone. And get rid of the stone out of there. See, we now got all empty barrels. So because we got empty barrels, we can actually take our still here and brew drinks from plants. What you'll find is he'll take, should take a barrel and then start brewing. There we go. Here's our master brewer. At the moment, as far as I'm aware, there's only one speed to the game. I think you can adjust the frame rate, but that doesn't really change the game in any sense of the word. But yeah, they don't, unlike other sims like RimWorld and Oxygen Not Included, you usually have like 1, 2, and 3 speed. They don't really have that in this, so yeah, you just have to deal with the speed that you've got. There might be a mod or something that does include that. I haven't found it yet, so if you know of one already, then let me know down in the comments. Okay, right, so I've got this. I'm going to create another zone here. And this is going to just be stone. I quite often separate these out as well. So yeah, just be mindful that you might need a lot of space for all your resources. The more resources you have, the more you're able to just craft straight off the bat, but obviously you just need to be wary and careful. This we're going to mark as our dining hall, and from the carpenter's thing here, we can add things like tables and then chairs. And then the dwarves have somewhere to sit and eat and drink and be merry, and they'll be very, 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 very happy here. No mud or soil at this location. No, because we don't actually have. If you want to convert this into things, you have to water. You have to water the zone. There's sand here, however. So what you'll find is you need sand or clay or dirt to be able to plant, which is why you can't plant here. This is going to be the storage for seeds and things, probably a little bit bigger than I intended. But this is probably big enough for quite a few dwarves. I think it's about 100. There is a chart on the wiki, I believe, of like how many that this will serve. That is for probably bigger fortresses. I don't think you really need much bigger than that, certainly not in the starter game, so I'm going to stick to that. And then that is now a zone for farm plots. That is then going to get constructed by somebody. I'm also going to make a hole into here and a hole into there for the time being. This is a very open fortress, guys, very open fortress. I tend to put things on multiple levels, bedrooms down the bottom for security, but as I said, this is just for getting started. So we now have this, and what you probably want is plump helmets. That's probably the one that is available in all seasons, so you can probably just tick that in all seasons, and away you go. They'll start doing farming, growing, that kind of thing. Down here, I'm going to create another area. It probably doesn't need to be this big, but I'm just going to do it anyway. And I'm going to take this for custom, food, seeds, all. And then this one down here, I'm going to custom, seeds, none. And that keeps all the seeds separate from the main food, and then you can at least monitor easily, what you've got there. So there's a table there. You install tables exactly the same way as you do with the thingy, and it is just a plot, and then you can stick 4 chairs around that. I don't know, is there any? Yeah, there is one chair, so I tend to just stick them there and there, one there, and then the table here, and then the chairs around that, and so on and so forth. So you can get chairs around every single table. That tends to be the way I work with it. If you want to do it any other way, your choice. Your choice. Apparently, an animal has grown to become a stray sow. Okay, fine. That is no problem. Need logs. I think we're out of logs, which is why I suggested that you needed trees. So yeah, trees are important. Different types of trees, but we'll worry about that another time. The last thing I think I will probably touch upon is jobs, which is this little hammer here, the labor menu. And what you find is all of these types of jobs. Pretty much any dwarf can learn how to do any of these the more you do it, but most of them already have. I think this guy was a mason. I turned him on at the beginning to be a miner as well. But because I've selected these two, it's now only those two will do the mining. You can tell everybody to do mining or nobody to do mining. Same with the woodcutter. We got one woodcutter here. Hunters, we don't really have any hunters. Planters, you can pretty much do most people, but this person is specifically a planter, so you probably want to make him the primary planter. What you'll find with planting is that the person that does the planting, the more skill that person has, the better the yield from that. It doesn't matter about harvesting, but the planting is very important. Fishing, one person's already selected for fishing, which is fine. We haven't set up a fishing zone. Planter gatherer, everyone can pretty much do that. Stonecutter, really, we only want one. Engraver, we only want one of those for the time being. Everybody can haul, that's fine. And we don't need to worry about the bottom one. But this is sort of setting up your work orders. The more dwarves you get, the more flexibility. And every now and then you will get a load more dwarves. They will just suddenly turn up and then they'll start eating your food. And then you had to prepare more bedrooms and then you had to manage them as well. So yeah, it's one of those simulations that you just have to keep on going and then pray you don't die. Yeah, I think this is probably enough. It's a bit of a mess, really, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. But you've got other things in here for workshops, jewelry, and crafts. They're important to keep people happy. Furnaces for melting down all stuff. This one will give you ash to then fertilize your fields with. So there is an awful lot. I mean, this menu on its own is just going to need its own video. You've also got your military as well and your traps for things that come in. So this is why you tend to leave a little bit of room around your opening, just to lay all your traps and things. There is also things, if you keep on digging as well, that you probably don't want to... Oh, bees. You probably don't want to deal with. But yeah, I think that is probably it. You can see my population is only 7, and we're getting happier because we're slowly, we've got bedrooms, we've got resources, we've got food, and they're all keeping happy and cheery and whatever else. You will find that they'll plant this and then it will say no seeds here, so then you can choose something else. But yeah, I think that's probably going to be it as a starter guide. As I said, this is a sort of very this is a very poorly designed fortress, only because of the bloody aquifer down below. But it's a start, and you've got to start somewhere. They are now underground. They are now safer than they were above ground, and they now have steady food, drink, and places to eat and places to sleep. And that is pretty much the main base to get started for. So yeah, this is a different one that I've done just as I'm still playing. It's a bit of a mess on the surface, but you see how many stones, rubbish you've got. But you see how I've done bedrooms differently and things down here, and I've started digging deeper and deeper in this one. So, you know, you can do an awful lot with this, and obviously things are set up differently. I think this was one of the first ones I've done, actually. I just loaded it. I think this was the first one I did. So probably not the best prime example, but, you know, it is a start. Trade depot here and crafting and things kept separate. That is an overly sized farm plot. Do not do that. But and you can see my happiness. I've got more dwarfs here, as you can see. But yeah, I think, guys, that is going to be it for this. It's probably a bit an over the top beginner's guide, not as short as I anticipated. But yeah, thank you very much for joining, and hopefully I will see you dwarfing next time. Bye for now. Bye bye.